we are back at the Church of Y after a year.
It's been a year, huh?
It's been a year.
Wow.
Back at the Church of Y.
It's been a year since. Wow.
Yeah, but that's why we wanted to change it up a little bit.
You've been busy.
Yeah, I know. I've been busy. We wanted to switch it up a little bit because
we could use.
No, really, we just got a broke camera.
Well, besides that, me and Luke never loved sitting side by side on a couch. It just felt too forced.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This is how we talk in real life, like this.
Yes.
We don't like sit on a couch like that.
Like right next to each other.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
it was like
hey.
weird, like so.
Like the fire felt better.
Yeah, so that's why I called that's why I called a Y-emergency, because of everything that's going on. So I say we're just gonna get into it. We're gonna talk. We're not scared to talk. You guys out there are probably scared to talk or live. So don't judge us. We're not scared to talk.
We love everyone.
We don't claim to know everything. We're just shooting the shit, have ideas. Our mind changes sometimes.
Here to listen and bounce thoughts.
Yes, we're bouncing thoughts off each other.
And sometimes you may just be flat out wrong.
We might be wrong.
And I'll admit it.
And we'll admit it. You
Yeah.
guys will, I won't, but you guys will. No. So, anyways, I don't know, Dad. Where do you want to start? What's on your mind? Anything? No? Well, I guess I will start it off with that. Basically, like lately, me and you've been arguing a lot because I'm kind of caught in the middle, I feel, of left and right, where I feel the left lies about Trump, and then you think that everything they're saying is basically true. You know? And that's the fight right now, is it's almost too much information. It's almost like too much disinformation. So no matter what I show somebody or what they show me, it's like we just don't trust what we're showing each other. So I'll fight with a Republican. They're like, well, look up the facts. Like, what facts? Like your website, that website? Everybody says something different. So we're just kind of caught in the middle.
Sharing other people's content.
Well, like we were talking about Antifa. And
yes, let's start with that. Because I said I thought it was silly that Joe Biden said Antifa wasn't an organization. And then you said that the FBI didn't call it an organization. They're calling it a movement. And I said that's just a word game to me. Because a movement could still hit you upside the head with a baseball bat.
In other words, it looks to me like the Antifa that you were showing me, they were in what, California?
Yeah, I guess
or Oregon or somewhere.
Portland,
yeah. To me, they were just a bunch of kids. I don't know, just nothing better to do. And they're rebellious, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they're going around doing violent things, then that's no good. That's not, you know, what we want, I guess. You know, people don't want to be going around burning things down. But, you know, so it's just, you know, so it's not as, like, as opposed to, like, white supremacy and militias and things like that, they are organized.
Yeah.
I mean, they're heavily organized. I mean, they got weapons and all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? But, so Antifa is just kind of like, it just sort of just started, you know,
but if you look at what's going on, it's like everybody's so worried about, say, the Proud Boys. What are they doing? What are the Proud Boys doing?
I never really paid much attention to the Proud Boys, to be honest with you.
Nobody has. Now all of a sudden I hear people talking about them. I'm like, you don't even know who the Proud Boys are.
Now, what about the Boogaloo?
I have like a rough idea of who
most
they
people
are.
do.
Well, what about the Boogaloo? The Boogaloo?
I don't
Did
know.
you hear of that? That's
The
another group.
Boogaloos are like the ones that go...
Now, they're white supremacists, though. The
I don't
Boogaloo.
know.
No?
I don't think they're white
I don't know.
supremacists. I think that they like go fight for their nation or something. They go fight.
Are they white guys?
I think they're just like defenders of the nation. They're
Right.
white and
Like
black.
America?
Yeah,
They
they're
just
like
fight.
American. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like if they think it's not right to do certain things, they'll go and get violent with them. But I don't know which side they're on.
Right.
You know, I think it's like a mix of both.
Right. Well, and I was showing my dad the Proud Boys.
That's what we should do. See, it'd be nice if we had someone to look up what Boogaloos were.
Yeah, my phone. That's funny. Well, it's about to die
yeah.
anyways with the live shit. But
What's a boogaloo?
Yeah, you can't get... Yeah, so we're not really...
he has his phone.
Yeah, I got my phone.
Yeah, we need a phone.
Well, you know, that's got internet over there, so, you know, I guess maybe we should set that up.
Well, he has
We
his
have
phone.
smaller monitors, too,
Yeah.
that we could put one there or a small...
Yeah, it would be nice.
Right?
This is just
Maybe
Wikipedia.
that's something to think about
Yeah,
next time.
to have it
Just
ready.
Have like a smaller monitor and
Right.
have it over here. And
Right.
All right, here we go. The Boogaloo movement, whose adherents are often referred to as Boogaloo Boys or Boogaloo Boys, is a loosely organized far-right, anti-government, and extreme political movement in the United States. The movement has also been described as a militia. Boogaloo adherents say they are preparing for or seek to incite a second American Civil War, which they call the Boogaloo. Boogaloo has been used on the fringe image board website 4chan since 2012, but it did not come to widespread attention until late 2019. Adherents use Boogaloo, including variations, so as to avoid social media crackdowns, to refer to violent uprisings, the federal government, or left-wing political opponents.
But what do they want, though?
It's like they don't want to bring attention to themselves.
But what's their end goal? You know, like what do they really want?
I don't know. I think what I've seen on both far right and far left is they want peace. Like everybody wants peace with each other, and they want to live peacefully. Like that's what I'm hearing, and I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you're talking to far right and far left, meaning like what is the far right and the far left?
Yeah,
right
what
now?
does that even mean? The left and the right.
No,
what
do
is
they
that
want?
to you?
Oh, what is the far right to me would be they believe in law and order, and they believe in smaller government. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And I believe the liberals or the far left, if it was up to them, they would like open up all the borders. They would give everybody. I'm not saying this is okay or not. They'd give everybody.
That's what's
insurance. They'd give everybody. Everybody should make money, and nobody's poor, and nobody's starving. Yeah, they almost want the bleeding hearts. Like they have like a bleeding heart.
But you know, one of the problems though is if you actually look up the definition of liberalism.
I know we already went over this.
You know.
I know, like the word thing.
Yeah, it's a word thing. People throw around words, ideas like liberalism. Liberalism, I mean, that's capitalism. Liberals, believe in a self-regulating economy and free markets and all that kind of stuff. I mean, basically.
So the far left isn't like Black Lives Matters and like.
Well, I think the
far left is like Antifa. Like, is that?
Well, anti-fascist. I mean, that's what we were when we went to Germany. We were anti-fascist. We fought against fascism in Germany. You had Mussolini, and you had all these fascists in Germany. Hungary, there was a fascist, and fascism was
but they want to like defund the police and stuff like that. Isn't that like creating fascism?
Right. That's how.
Well, defunding the police. No, I mean, there's the far left, but I mean, there's the middle ground too. Like Biden has never said that he wants to defund the police. As a matter of fact, he wants to actually give it more money. He thinks that the police is underfunded.
Yeah, Trump lied. Where's he
going to get that money from? Huh? Where's he going to get that money from?
Well, from us.
Yes, at some point.
Yeah, it's going to be from the public, but it's in the public's interest, though, to, we don't want chaos in the streets and stuff like that. Right?
Right.
So
I just think there's a lot of funding going towards certain things that are like unnecessary.
Yeah, but look at what the corporations are doing. I mean, all the money, like they're even right now.
They're like hoarding it all.
Yeah,
aren't they? Like, what the fuck are they doing with it?
Yeah,
they're like sucking it out of us.
Well, how does
like hoarding it off, like offshore and shit like that?
Yeah, and how does somebody all of a sudden be, worth, 60 billion or they say Putin is worth 160 billion? Like how?
Right.
In the meantime, Russia's poor. Like they got problems. So how does he amass 160 billion? How do people get all these billions
and billions
of dollars?
And billions of dollars? They're siphoning it from us.
Well, then you got some, I guess, like what's his name, Bezos, from Amazon. I guess he's creating a problem. I guess he's, people have getting lazier and lazier, and they just want to like order things off of Amazon, and it is tempting because I just ordered something from Amazon today.
I know it's so easy. That's why.
Well, the price was good. The only thing is the price isn't always good, but you have to look around. But it's just so easy, and then it comes in 2 days.
I mean, it's hard to beat.
So it's killing like local businesses, and so he's worth billions too.
Yeah.
So I don't know where all that's going to lead and stuff like that. But
especially because now all the small businesses are shutting down because of COVID and stuff, and it gives Amazon even
And that's
more
scary,
opportunity.
dude. Yeah, dude. And what I was thinking before, like, there's a tiny little gas station. It's locally owned at the bottom of our street, like at the bottom of our hill. And who would want to open a ma and pa gas station little shop right now?
Right.
There's nobody that would do
No.
that, dude. Because you're seeing Sheets build these huge ass
I
new
know.
giant things.
Right.
Gecko's building these new giant things.
I know.
It's like these people are barely surviving.
It's like perfect for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect.
I mean, my
It's
idea.
crazy.
I mean, I think there's just a lot of problems with talking about left and right. I mean, we act like that there's just one left and one right.
Yeah, I agree.
But maybe there's
Yeah.
like tributaries of different
Well,
groups.
there is.
There are.
There is tributaries of different groups. So like,
You know, I mean, you got all these that are
Yeah.
splintering,
Yeah.
and you know, and
Extremist and yeah.
right. So, you know, but to me, I guess what I always thought, you know, was that, you know, the left is like communism and the right is capitalism, but that doesn't mean that the right's bad. You know, or some people believe communism is good. It just didn't.
Yeah,
It
but-
just didn't work out. It didn't work out as it was intended. I mean, you know, it was supposed to be, you know, something good, but it just seems like anytime you try a utopian kind of system, it never works out.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't think any kind of utopian system is ever going to work
Well,
out.
that's why when people
one littered with psychedelics.
I mean, the
Did you listen to that last Rogan
no, I
with
didn't.
Graham Hancock?
No, did you? Did you like Graham?
yeah, I do.
Oh, you did.
Did
No,
you
did you
listen?
listen to it? He was
No,
just on,
I'm not really, you know, like.
Yeah,
And
in
there was
tuned
this,
all the time.
there was this
Yeah.
another dude. There's this other guy who's into like tying psychedelics into like Greek religions. Like back in the day, there was this thing called Eleusius, and it was the sacrament that they would do, and they'd do it in the middle of the night, and they would drink these like magical potions and shit that they would talk about. And they talked about the experience being like they were like meeting God and being one with God. And he was saying that there was a connection between that being the center of like their civilization. You know, the art stemmed off of that, the religion stemmed off of that, like all the ideas and philosophy stemmed off of that, but that was like the basis of it.
If you
And then the Christian religion came in and smothered it out or some shit.
well, you know, like right now, I guess Amazon is you know, streaming Britannia. You might like that. You should watch it.
Britannica?
Not Britannica, Britannia. It's about Julius Caesar, or I forgot the Rome. It's about I can't remember what it was about. I think it was about Julius Caesar and the Romans. It was about the Romans coming in to conquer, you know, England, and they get into all the different you know, pagan types of religions. I mean, everybody was pagan. I mean, if you think about
Yeah,
it,
and how the Christians like molded their religion to match their like the pagan religion or like the pagan celebrations.
yeah, I mean,
Like it was the same celebrations that like Jesus' birthday was different and like they made it some pagan. There's some
well, it's the
connection.
winter solstice is the
Yes, the
the-
winter solstice. So they
I
made
mean,
that.
yeah, Jesus wasn't born, you know, who knows when he was born, but he wasn't born, you know, the 25th of December. They just said that, but that's close to the winter solstice.
Yeah, and they were doing it to like sway pagans into the religion or something.
Yeah, like they say, like even Easter, that's based on the god of Esther. That's why you see all these, you know, fertility things. You know, the god, you know, Esther was the god of fertility, and that's why you have all these rabbits and all these, you know, eggs and all that. Well, like, what does that have to do with
Right.
you know, with Jesus?
Like Easter bunnies.
Yeah,
and-
Easter
Yeah, well,
bunnies
yeah. What is
and
the
all
Easter
that
bunny
shit.
and going around collecting eggs and everything? What does that have to do with Jesus? Absolutely nothing. And so they just, like you were saying, you know, they were just trying to appease the pagans and make things,
Yeah.
you know, make sense to them.
Right.
You know,
so that
like
they would join them.
Well, you know, I get
And
into
then
that.
that spread into like British culture and shit like that. Because then it was like the Celtics and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, so yeah, you had all these different, you know, tribes, and even in Germany, I mean, Julius Caesar went into Germany and just conquered it.
Yeah.
The Romans did. I mean, the Romans were like, I love movies about Romans.
Yeah, Romans.
Romans
cool.
interesting.
I would love to go over there and see like the actual. What's it called where they fought? I'm blanking.
Yeah.
The Colosseum.
Yeah, the Colosseum.
Whack 'em.
I was like that. But yeah, Colosseum and stuff.
I mean, it just seems like a lot of times in Christian religions, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with Jesus. I mean, Jesus. I mean, in my own mind, I mean, the way I see Jesus as a socialist, right? I mean, pure socialism is where everybody, shares and everybody gets along, and the workers, like when you work, you control the workforce. You're not a slave to some corporation. That the workers, own the workplace. I mean, you can have like little types of, there are companies out there that are employee owned.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's socialism. It's a little microcosm of the idea. But the idea of socialism is that that nobody would own anything in particular, and everybody would just share everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't ever. That doesn't. I mean, in its purity, that's what socialism is. Karl Marx was trying to make socialism work, I guess. But it's really difficult to have a classless society where everybody's the same. And
well, that's why when people complain about capitalism, they say, well, show me something better.
Well, but like I said before,
it always comes back to that. Well, show me a better system.
But there are limits to it. People complain about us getting manufacturing to China. Well, that's capitalism. The end goal of capitalism is not to please you, is profit. Make money.
Remember we were talking about the NAFTA agreement. Did you ever figure out? Remember we were trying to figure out why when they signed, everybody knows about the NAFTA agreement, but what was the reasoning behind it? Even the fake reasoning. I don't even care if there was some
trade. There was you were supposed to have free trade with no tariffs, but it never quite worked out in the way it was. That's one thing about NAFTA. It never really quite worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, didn't let's say America. Let's just pretend even with the face they were showing, what did they say? How didn't they know this was going to happen? How couldn't they foresee that we would lose our jobs to China?
Well, that's
I don't understand.
Well, that's what Ross Perot was saying. Okay, you got to remember. Okay, all this started with Reagan. Reagan was the one, right? You saw that video. It all started in Reagan.
But what did they tell us? I guess I'm still.
Well, the idea that we were going to trade.
Okay, so they were telling the American
free
people,
trade.
And how would that help, me and Luke? What were they saying?
Well, I guess it was just
cheaper stuff.
They had to have seen it. They had to have seen that it was going to be a battle for labor.
But if you
that there was no way that our labor force and the way that our economy was growing and how much shit was inflating, that it wasn't going to be inflated to the point where something was going to pop. If we shipped the labor for everything that we consume.
Yeah.
I mean,
trade is
there's no mixing there. All our money's going to China. It's just all going to different places.
I know.
I mean,
and then the stock market's fake, right?
Right. It's not real.
No, it's just based off of interest.
Right.
Of our debt.
It's not real.
Of our personal debt too.
And plus,
they buy debt from each other.
Mm-hmm.
They take on the challenge.
Same with real estate. I'll have a mortgage, and then they take that mortgage. Oh, we're your mortgage now, or we're the bank with your mortgage. We bought your loan from their loan, or they're all just trading loans.
It's fucking fake.
Yeah, it's all fake.
What the fuck what is that?
Yeah.
And 50% of the people don't even have stocks.
That's another reason why Fargo's good.
Right.
Fargo is starting to get into that.
Season 4.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess yeah.
You didn't give it that far of a chance. I think it was at the end of season or the end of the first episode.
Yeah, the idea is just to freely trade among the
world.
Well, eventually, everybody would just freely trade among each other, and it's like free markets. That's what liberalism is all about.
And then we do enjoy
Billy
cheap
Goat
stuff
and Bumblebee.
because we do enjoy. Stuff would be way more expensive. That iPhone would be almost $2,000. Or it is now, so it'd probably be $4,000.
Well, I always felt though that what hurt. Well, it hurt. Well, I mean, it's kind of I actually, in Mexico are really our neighbors, and it's probably not a bad idea to have good relations with our neighbors, right? With Canada and Mexico, but now with China,
Red leaf.
it seems like unfair because they have like a dictatorship. They have
China.
communism, so they know how to control the people.
Yeah.
So it seems an unfair advantage. Now corporations though really benefited from the China deal.
What's going on like socially in China right now? Like what's going on in China?
That's another thing. Is a lot of times people don't pay attention to what's going on.
Or
in
they
other
just
countries.
don't like share what's going on.
Well, they're very secretive.
Like we would have to have people in there, like living there, telling us what's going on in the cities and stuff.
Yeah, because they
You know?
won't give that out.
Yeah, they control.
Yeah,
They control
they
the internet.
control what comes out of that country.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of times I worry about it. I mean, like, I guess one of the problems that I have with all this Russia, this love for Russia. I remember one time I saw a sign, on the internet that said, "I'd rather be Russian than Democrat." I'm saying, really? Do you know that Russia? It's a dictatorship, pretty much. I mean, Putin controls everything,
Yeah.
and their gun laws are like the strictest in the world.
Well, people are going off the deep end on both sides right now. But the problem with the whole Republican thing, it's like you're like say when you're talking about Trump and all that, like you're at this like level, but they're at another level with the Illuminati, satanic baby eaters. Like they take their blood. They like Trump is like a god from the Bible, a false prophet who's gonna.
Well, yeah, that's all like.
So that's what I'm saying.
That's all nutty
So
stuff,
when, well, maybe not though. But when you
I
argue
think
with them, when you're talking politics, like they're not. Like it's almost like if I'm like you're almost like if you're talking, you're like missing each other because they're way deeper into like what's really going on, and you're talking about like he's a bad person, but they're thinking like, dude, like Biden and all them and Clinton, like they sell they're sex trafficking kids and stuff, and you guys just aren't seeing it, and that's the problem. That QAnon and all that, it's like people will make fun of it, but they don't even know what QAnon is saying a lot
They
of
don't
the
know
time.
what
People
it is.
laugh at it and like, oh, it's just like a culty thing, and it's like, but not really, because it's technically based off somebody that was on the inside who was supposedly like in the FBI, the CIA, who is like feeding this stuff, and they're basing all their stuff off information, like declassified information that you guys don't see that they're seeing. And but their problem right now is they were promising a lot of dates. Like Hillary is going to get arrested on November 17th, and that date would be wrong, so people would write it off. But a lot of the stuff that QAnon says has happened, but people just ignore it or they don't care. And that's the problem, that a lot of people who are voting,
A lot of people are like, oh shit, that's just crazy.
this is crazy, but
It's
a lot of
crazy,
it's not.
and they don't pay attention to like what it
like
is.
Epstein and stuff, before the whole Epstein thing, yeah, there's an island with pedophiles, sure, or there's like a pedophile island with the rich elite, and then it did happen.
But there is.
see what I'm
but
saying?
Trump
It
was,
did happen.
But
Yeah.
Trump was associated with
And
that.
that's the same thing,
with
like-
well, I
I
mean,
mean, keep going. This is what I want to talk about. Like, all right.
he definitely. I mean, Trump was definitely associated. He said he was pretty much said he was his best friend.
But they're saying that he once
and
he
we both
found out.
like young, and we both
I know.
like
I
pretty
agree
women.
with you though. That's the problem. Like I think Trump was in on it too, and he knew when to get out. Then they say, oh well, he stopped talking to Epstein, but I think Trump just knew when to get
Well,
out.
there was a lot of years he was with them,
It was-
and same with Clinton,
I know
right?
it-
Clinton, they say Clinton, and so it's no coincidence that Epstein was probably killed because he has there's a lot of
yeah.
famous people that probably indulged in that kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
So
beginning with Epstein, dude.
pick it up. That's all right.
Well, Pat's
Maybe he's
calling
watching
me.
live. He wants to say something. Pick it up. Go speakerphone.
What's up,
Hey, buddy.
Patrick? What's
You
good?
gotta straight. You gotta put your phone vertical, and you gotta turn off the fan. We can't hear anything, and the picture's sideways.
There's no fan. That's weird.
There's no fan.
What does it sound like?
Sounds like there's a fan blowing. In the phone, you have it sideways. You can't live with it sideways. You have to keep it vertical.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
trying to do. You gotta keep it the other way. But the
Oh.
fan, I don't know. That's weird.
Just
What
trying to
fan?
help.
I know
Just
it's
trying
so
to help.
quiet.
Thanks, Pat. How
Yeah,
you doing,
thanks.
Pat?
No, yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
Doing
thanks.
all right.
Yeah,
Doing all right. How are you, sir?
doing pretty well, man.
Yeah?
It's been busy.
Yeah, we can't really hear you guys, and I think I just probably fucked up your live.
No, it's fine.
No, it's
Yeah,
alright.
we'll
Like,
be
if,
talking
if
for
you were
nothing.
interrupting something that just didn't sound right and it didn't look right, that's just stopping like torture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying. The Jeff from fucking Canada was saying shit. Paul was being mean a little bit, but
He called him a satanic douchebag.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I told him not to do that, but yeah. I just wanted to help you guys out because I was trying to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys had like 7 or 8 people in there, and if we can hear you guys, like I'll share it. You know what I mean?
All right, let me open this bitch up. I'm gonna take my phone out of my case.
That's probably what it was. Yeah,
You think the case is stopping?
Yeah,
Maybe.
like we've been having trouble because there's no Wi-Fi up here, dude.
Yeah. Can you just use the regular 5G?
Yeah, I was trying. That's what we were on.
And what's happening in China is genocide.
I know, dude.
I wanted to scream it. I was like, dude, genocide.
All right, cool.
we'll try again.
All right, yeah, thanks, brother.
Love you guys.
Love you too, bro.
Later.
Later.
Who was that?
Pat
That's
Kennedy.
Pat Kennedy.
You ever see him on any?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. Like super right.
Broadcast failed.
Well, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right.
They're probably like, what the hell?
Yeah,
We're
we're
yapping away.
yeah, we're all talking and
I
nobody's
know,
listening.
that was fun. Yeah, I guess there was a bunch of people.
Oh, you got it now? It helped
Yeah,
taking
there
that
we
case
go.
off, huh?
Yeah, that means my whole rant.
We're recording it too, but you got it recorded through the.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
It just didn't go
totally
live.
lost.
Yeah, I know. We just gotta highlight that stuff.
But he must have heard something though, if he wanted to scream about China.
Yeah,
They must
yeah,
have
you could hear
kinda-
something, couldn't you, Pat? You just wanted to get a different angle. Oh, I'm kicking shit.
Yeah, we were going too. I'm glad he did that, but we were going. We
Yeah,
finally
we were.
we were finally
Got
going.
got on a roll there. I actually sell little things
Yeah, no.
to prop them up.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like at the thrift store, sometimes they have those little things. It might be, they're like little pods, but
But anyways, let's rewind. All right, so I think where we were leaving off was I was talking about how, you know, when you're talking politics with the right, they're not talking politics really. Like they are a little bit, but they're talking, you know, child sex trafficking. The Clintons, they're evil and stuff. But then you make a good point. Was Trump was with Epstein the whole time? So you're trying, and then they say
they
well,
were friends.
All right, so they're going to say, well,
Yeah.
Trump backed out. He knew when to back out, but it's like Trump had to have known the whole time. They say he's not stupid or Trump's so smart. He really didn't know what was going on.
I mean,
So-
he was really friends with the Clintons. They were all buddies.
yeah, I know.
They all went to. They all
And
went
that's
to.
like real, like that really happened.
Right.
You know, like our government is that shady.
Right.
Like the Clintons were that scandalous. The Bush family was very scandalous.
Yeah.
You know, and if you look into that shit, then it's easy to be persuaded because, I mean, you don't trust your government. You know, so who are they? Like, what are they doing when our best interests aren't in front of what they're choosing to, like, make legal and things like that? You know, they allow so much to go through with industry, like with chemicals and stuff like that harm us. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but I tell you what. One of the things that's interesting about Trump, though, I will say, is that it's really making people think. I think I never realized how much power that a president has.
Like what has he done? That
Well,
has
like
shown
for
that?
example, you know, like just think about it. Bill Clinton got, you know, impeached over an affair,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so here they're trying to subpoena Trump, and then Trump is just thumbing their nose at people and saying, well, you know, Clinton probably was thinking, wow, I could have done that too.
Yeah.
I could have just, you know,
Yeah,
you subpoenaed
fuck you, like,
you,
screw you,
I mean,
fuck off.
you subpoenaed me for this affair,
Yeah.
but you know what? I'm not going.
Yeah. You're gonna have to carry. You're gonna have to take
And
me
so
out.
he's probably looking at Trump and thinking, wow, I didn't realize I had all the power.
Yeah.
So Trump is really kind of showing the power that the president does have. It's amazing, you know.
And
you think,
yeah, keep going.
well, you figure that the whole thing with Biden, whether you agree with the whole thing, the impeachment or not, but, you know, I mean, but Trump refused to, you know, the House wanted to subpoena the people that knew what he's talking, and he wouldn't let them. He would not let the people talk that knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And why? I mean, if he was innocent, wouldn't he just let them talk?
That's not necessarily true, though.
Well, I guess you could argue that too, but you know, I mean,
Sometimes you just don't talk. Like, no, like,
well, like,
because you can trip people up or get them to lie, or you know.
well, one of the problems though is like supposedly Bolton knew. You know who John Bolton is? He's the
Michael Bolton. No, I don't. Explain.
well, he worked in the Trump administration, and he worked in the GW administration, and he's a big warmonger. He's a guy with a mustache, big mustache. Everybody makes fun of his mustache.
Yeah.
And he just recently wrote a book, you know, about tell-all thing about everything. And
What's his name?
Bolton.
Bolton.
Yeah, isn't it John Bolton or something? You know, I can't remember his first name now. And so I was surprised really that Trump hired him to begin with, because he's such a warmonger. Because Trump seems to be trying to avoid wars.
Yeah, he
Doesn't
wants
it
peace,
seem like,
right?
huh?
Yeah.
He wants peace. He just signed that Abrahamic freaking peace treaty in the Middle East with the United Arab Emirates and what's the other one? Israel.
But the left refuses to see that.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
another
that's like
thing they
huge.
refuse
Like
to
that's
see.
like a beginning. That's like a step for the peace in the Middle East, and that's like real.
Well, I think sometimes the whole left and right thing is a weird thing too,
Well, what do you wanna call it? I don't
because
know.
it, no, I mean, because it becomes very tribal.
Yes.
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 They're fighting with their hate,
when you stop and look at this left,
or they're voting.
But if you stop and actually look at the breakdown of the left and right, it's enormous complexity. It's like a spider's web.
Yeah, it is.
Of left and right, and sometimes you wonder.
And I think most people are in the middle.
Yeah, most people are in the middle. I would agree with that. I mean, they talk about, Democrats want to open the borders. That's not really true, that they want to open the borders. I mean, who wants to do that? I mean, that would be insanity if you open the borders.
There's people.
There are people, though.
There's people.
There are people who do want to open the borders, but I would say that they're in the very, very minority.
Yeah.
I would, just think how crazy that would be if all of a sudden you open the border. Everybody would just come in. It'd be like you leaving your doors open, and just letting everybody come in and do whatever they want.
Yeah, well, there was that.
You got to have order. A society has to have order, and
that's why I like when Biden cornered Trump on the will you denounce white supremacy, and then I showed you Trump plenty of times.
Oh, he has. I've known
plenty of times has
yeah.
denounced white supremacy.
Yeah.
And I like when Trump was like, do you believe in law and order? Do you believe in law and order? And Biden was struggling answering that. You remember that part? He wouldn't answer it. And it's so funny that we're gonna maybe vote in a president that's hesitating to admit that he's for law and order.
Yeah.
That's how much Black Lives Matter has him right now, where you have to be anti-cop. You can't even be reasonably. You have to be anti-cop. And I was asking Luke, can you be pro-black and anti-burning down cities? It seems like it doesn't even exist. Because if you're against burning down cities, then they say you're racist. Or you say, well, then you believe in police brutality. And that's my problem with everybody. There's no fucking middle. And like you said, we're way more complex than that. I think black people have gotten a bad shake in America, and they started from the bottom, and we kick them down, and every time they come up we find a way to kick them back down. But at the same time, I don't think burning down your own city is the right thing to do, because when, say, this corona thing clears up, who would ever want to set up shop in a black neighborhood right now, knowing if one cop puts a fucking knee on a black guy, they're going to burn down the whole block? So if I'm opening up a sneaker shop, there's no way I'm going to the city or close to urban areas.
Yeah, but
it's almost a way of shooting yourself in your own foot, because you're showing what you do to your own community. And I get it. I get the outrage. I get they're mad. I get that the government makes them feel like, well, this isn't even our shit anyway, so let's burn it down. But in the long run, it's hurting themselves.
But in this particular case, though, there is a lot of where I see a lot of people, a lot of white people looting.
All right, but I
and
know.
breaking windows,
okay,
right?
Okay.
So what's with that? What's all that about? Why are all these white people breaking windows and looting?
Antifa. That's what Trump's talking about.
Yeah, the movement.
The movement.
The movement. These little sneaky
so he
fucks.
believes that they're the Antifa.
But you're not allowed to say anything about Antifa, or you look like you're anti-Black Lives Matter, and they're all like mixing. I've seen so many videos of black people saying, "Go home. This isn't your city.
Yeah.
Go home." You know. Like, just get out of here. There's all these little white kids burning down stuff.
Yeah,
like
having
having
people
fun
with
and
skateboards
stuff.
and shit, getting all violent.
Throwing bottles at people.
Yeah.
And they're even saying, like, there are some that loot and black people. I'm not saying that.
It's not all white kids.
and all black.
Yeah.
That's what Jesse Lee did.
Dude, it's probably, like, I don't know. Like, I remember being 16. You remember being 16?
It's fun. It would be fun to go around.
Like, I wouldn't be hitting people and
It's
shit,
like the
but I'd be
Purge.
going down there to check it out.
So I get it. I understand why
be
they're
down
doing
there
it.
watching.
No, not me.
But at the same time,
When you were 16?
Well, no, not well. That's true. 16.
that's what we're saying. Like young kids,
Yeah,
like a young
16,
kid.
17,
Your
you're
friends
just
are doing
driving.
it.
You're kind of stupid
Like
when you're
everyone's
16.
going
Yeah,
down.
that's
Yeah,
what we're saying.
exactly. Yeah.
But you're not even allowed to denounce it.
And next thing you know, your whole life is ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Because you
problem.
go to jail, dude.
Yeah, next thing you know, you got a record, you got a felony.
Well, this is what's
and you're-
weird.
There's people, but like, are there a lot of Antifa? Are there a bunch of people getting arrested at these protests?
I can't believe
The
you just
violent
said that.
protests?
All right, I just saw something on Facebook, right? And it was a picture of a white guy with a Nazi flag spray painting like a Black Lives Matter symbol, or like a Black Lives Matter mural. Okay?
Yeah.
And it was like, we need to find this guy. Do you have any information on him? Meanwhile, there's thousands of people burning down buildings in like
in Portland.
what about them? Or
Yeah.
like everywhere, but they don't have them like up on like who is this guy? Like, we need to find him. It's complete anarchy in the
Yeah.
streets, and you're not even allowed to be against it. And that's what's, for me, when we talk about left and right, I feel that Biden is he doesn't have a backbone, and he's like scared to stand up to it. And then
Well, he wants to be president.
Yeah.
So he's walking a tight line here because you figure he's trying to please a lot of people.
Exactly, though.
That's why he picked Kamala Harris, right? He thought.
Oh, no, he didn't pick Kamala Harris. They picked it for him.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
they picked
whatever.
Kamala Harris.
Whoever the they is,
Powers
right?
that be, right?
Yeah.
Well, they all. Well, I do think though that ultimately, maybe I'm wrong, but ultimately it is up to Biden.
You think so?
Yeah, because he's going to be the president. I mean,
You think he is gonna
but
win?
look at the power that Trump has. You have a lot of power when you're president.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You have a lot of power, and so Biden he's trying to balance this thing. Like, I don't know. It's
I don't think Biden's doing anything.
Well, but Biden is saying, well, look, Trump is having this rant against Democrats, whether Democrats, I guess, they're saying they don't like him, but Biden is saying, well, I'm not gonna divide people, for being, Democrat, Republican. I'm gonna be a president for everybody, and so he's trying to balance. See, because the way it's supposed to work, and I think one of the problems with Trump is Trump's not a politician. So he doesn't know how it all works, And so the idea always was that in the primaries you go to the base, okay. Mm-hmm. But when you're going for the mainstream election, you don't want to just
the undecided.
Well, you're going to the undecided, and right, and so you want to expand
Swing vote.
Right, yeah. Swing votes. I mean, you figure a lot of people voted for Trump because they didn't like Hillary.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big, right? I mean,
yeah.
And then you had a lot.
What's happening now?
Well, you had a lot
of people were voting for Biden because they hate Trump.
Well,
they're not voting for Biden; they're voting against Trump.
Well, Bernie Sanders vote. People. Vote. A lot of Bernie Sanders people voted for Trump because they agreed with his. With the idea of doing something about China and free trade, because Bernie Sanders wants to do fair trade.
Yeah.
We have to trade with other countries.
Yeah, we do, but it has to be fair.
But you have to be fair about it. You can't. Yeah. It can't be one-sided. And so China got to, kind of got one.
Where labor, like it's 89 cents to make a certain product in China, but here it would cost like maybe $1.40.
Well, if all of a sudden
they move all the manufacturing over there, all the jobs.
What I don't understand though is like Apple. Okay,
now the robots are taking over.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That's a whole
then
other.
people,
Yeah, no, the
people
robots are
forget
taking
about
over.
that, you know. People
I forgot
But
Andrew
those
Yang,
parts,
dude.
but still, those parts are being made in China anyways. So that still applies. What we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
but like I was thinking earlier when you were talking about something, but like the masks started in China like a long time ago. Like the Asian
when I
population
was
has
saying
been
people are trying
wearing
to compare
masks
it,
Oh,
for a
you-
long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like I wonder why, because of SARS and all that stuff.
probably. And there's so many of them.
And there's
There's
so
like
many of them,
billions
so they're
them.
scared of disease.
Well, like in Japan, it's very common that when like in Japan, it's considered polite that if you're sick, you wear a mask.
Right.
Yeah,
We would just prefer to cough all everybody because it's our right to
Right.
cough all over everybody. But
yeah.
but
Build
it-
immunities.
you just cough over
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
There was actually a George. This is sort of a tangent here. There was a George Carlin video. Where I mean,
He would love it right now. He'd be
George
ripping
Carlin
some-
would be
Yeah.
Did you ever
freaking
see
having
that
a
one
heart
little
attack
skit
on
that he
stage
does?
every
He
night.
says, the reason that we didn't get sick because we swam in that filthy river and we got ourselves all full of germs and everything. It's kind of, if you ever, maybe I'll look for it and I'll send it to you because it's really funny.
I'll put it right there.
Yeah, now everyone's super scared.
Yeah, it's really funny.
And, well, everyone's so scared and they're spraying everything and they're way too clean.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
They're
but it is.
they're over killing the viruses and bacteria.
But okay, I've come to the conclusion now though that I don't care if we find this whole thing passes. When I go to a hospital, I'm wearing a mask, and when I go to the doctor's office, I'm wearing a mask because those people are sick.
yeah,
I'm not walking in and just a doctor's office in a hospital when everybody's sick and just breathing all that in.
Yeah.
So I think the Chinese and the Japanese, they have it right. But when you're sick, but the problem is that a lot of people, we see that already, a lot of people don't care. They'll be sick, they'll have coronavirus, and they'll be going out and dating people and kissing people and everything, like even with AIDS, right? There were guys that had AIDS.
It does build our immunity,
yeah.
though.
Didn't Fauci
but,
create AIDS?
but okay, my butt. I never mentioned my butt. But in order to create herd immunity, people have to die.
Right.
So who dies? So you want herd immunity, okay? But now your parents are going to be dead.
Yeah, it's named after like herd of animals. Like that's exactly how it would work. Like,
So there's
the
a-
older, weaker would die.
Yeah, something like that.
It's
Yeah.
almost
But
like
they make money off of the older and the weaker. Like a lot of those, old people homes and senior centers and stuff.
yeah, they're the ones that
It's
are
usually-
dying.
Yeah.
So
There's-
so do you
there's-
want your grandparents to be dead? So that for the good, that's what this one politician
yeah,
said.
that's
We should do it for the good of the country. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Start with your parents.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we'll
start
start
with
with
your
your parents. Let your parents die.
Yeah, that's
how
true.
but he wouldn't let. I bet you he wouldn't let his parents die, or his grandparents. But he may want other. He don't care if
Definitely
other
fight
people.
for it. Yeah, definitely fight for it.
So there are consequences.
Maybe that's like the intention of modern medicine right now, is to try and help and prolong life. That's where modern medicine.
Yeah,
where it
people
started,
die.
Like where the intentions of modern medicine started to help, but now I think like it's beginning to harm.
Mm-hmm.
Like the treatment of cancer is so rough.
Like chemo and
Yeah,
stuff.
Well,
chemo
but-
and all that shit. And
People
then,
don't
like,
die
one of
from
the
it.
and there's some cancers like you'll definitely die,
I know.
and then there's some cancers that like
Well-
you got like a good shot at it, but we gotta do a lot of shit, and then you got $130,000 in medications for the rest of your life.
Now that's a problem.
That's a fucking
That's a
huge
problem. But if you had an opportunity though to live another year, wouldn't you want to? Would you want? Do you want to
For
just die?
130 grand.
Well, I mean, if
and
you had
for the
it,
rest of my life.
no, if you had the 130
Oh,
grand,
okay.
if it isn't going to
Yeah,
bankrupt
sorry.
you,
Yeah, I'm talking about my friend's fiance who has leukemia.
but that's another issue
That's
though,
how much,
and that's
yeah.
one of the things that Democrats are I mean, one of the reasons that I like the philosophy of Democrats, I do agree that even Trump one time was quoted as saying that it would help businesses if we had if the government controls the health care.
Yeah.
He actually said that. If you actually look, of course, Trump says a lot of things, but he did at one point believe that it was a good idea, to have, like, look at Canada, nobody's going to die in Canada, right?
Yeah.
You know, everybody has
right?
yeah, everybody has health care. I mean,
Yeah.
over in this, I mean, look at all the European countries. People don't go bankrupt. You know, like even like to go into a nursing home, it's ridiculous. Like the problem with our capitalist system in this country is that, I mean, I'm all for, you know, for capitalism and free trade and people having business and all that, but I don't know about all this screwing people and bankrupting people and taking advantage of people.
Yeah.
I don't know about that
It's
kind
ridiculous.
of capitalism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And right now it's making it 10 times worse because small businesses are getting choked out.
Because you have two kinds of capitalism. You have the venture capitalism, which is good, and then you have the vulture capitalism.
Yeah. Yeah. Predatory.
The predators,
capitalism.
who prey on people.
Yeah, and that's what social media is. Like they're preying on our time. Did you watch Social Dilemma?
What is that? The movie?
Yeah, you didn't see that on Netflix?
No.
It's like the creators of Facebook and stuff like that.
The like button and stuff.
Yeah, the creator of the like button and like the guy that actually monetized Facebook and was the one that the advertisement model was the one that was the most sexy, so they went with that. And what they're actually doing is selling our attention and time to like advertisers so that they could put advertisements in.
Oh yeah,
and they try and hold our attention as much as possible. Like it's crazy. It's designed that way to just like suck us in.
I've noticed there's a lot more ads on Facebook. Have you noticed that?
No, yeah.
I mean, we're bombarded now with ads and commercials. I was watching this.
Political ads. I keep getting political ads.
Oh yeah.
Well, now
From
we got a
both
lot.
sides.
I was watching one of those news things, you know, yesterday, and I had it recorded. I forgot what the heck did I have? I had something recorded, and so Julie and I were watching it, and I was fast forwarding it, and you know, like you had more commercials. The commercials were more. If you went on your VCR too fast, you'd pass up the main thing, because you know, like the commercials were more than the actual.
Oh yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
more commercials
And
than
you
content.
see that in a VCR. Yeah, there's actually more commercials than content.
Yeah.
And I find it actually it's really kind of annoying the heck out of me. You know, like I mean, a VCR is nice, you know, because at least you have some control, you know, over that. You can fast forward, you know, but
The VCR is nicer.
VCR is nice
Yeah.
because you have more control over, you know, like you can record things. Like you could, if you really wanted to, you know, like a lot of times if you just wait 15 minutes before a show starts, let's say you start recording,
Yes, you can. Yeah, I know.
or even hold it on pause.
You mean
Pause.
a DVR?
Hmm?
You mean a DVR?
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm old school, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
VCR.
DVR is way better.
Yeah, VCR you only had like 2
Turn the
hours
light
or
off?
6
Did you turn the
hours.
light
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Were
How
there,
come?
I don't know. Were there people watching?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, should I put it back
I don't
on?
know. Yeah, they were all watching. But whatever, you don't have to keep it. I just wonder why you're turning it off.
I mean, DVR, you can record
No, I
it.
didn't know if I should like get on there and like should I like talk to him, and then I saw you charging your thing, and I was like, oh, are you gonna get on there and watch it?
I don't care. You don't have to turn it back on.
No, I'll put it right back on. I just gotta pee, so I'm gonna run downstairs.
You know what? I have to do the same thing too.
Pause it.
Yeah, there's a pause.
Of the Democrat Party than the Republican Party. I mean, I like the social nets that people have. I don't want to see people starving to death. Like all of a sudden, because you figure what the problem with capitalism is that you know there's a lot of greed and then these people, they cause depressions, and then next thing you know, people are out on the street. I mean, that's how FDR, he didn't want to see people starving. People used to starve to death years ago.
Yeah, people still are, aren't they?
Well, they have safety nets now. You know, I mean, you can get welfare and things like that.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I don't understand why when they talk about homeless people, though, why don't they can go to, you know, why don't they go on welfare or something?
I don't get it either. Probably because you need paperwork and it's not that easy to get on welfare.
Well, one thing I figured out when I was going to college, you know, like, you know, all of a sudden I realized because I had the GI Bill, I didn't have hardly any money that I was generating, and all of a sudden I could collect welfare because I had like, you know, hardly, I didn't have any income. So all my income was a VA, and you didn't have to count that.
Huh. That's
It's
nice.
just like my mother. She has VA money, and you don't have that's tax free.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I could get food stamps and get Medicaid and all that kind of stuff, because I didn't have any income. So you have to figure out, well, they were saying that I think it's like you can't make more than $1,400 a month.
Hmm.
So you have to figure out how to live with less than $1,400 a month,
Yeah.
which is hard. I pay that much in bills.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah,
easy.
Yeah, right.
A week.
More than
Yeah.
that, you probably pay more than that in bills.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
For sure.
we'll do it another time.
So.
All right.
Well, we kind of started kind of late.
Yeah,
too.
I was tired before I got here. So.
Yeah, so.
All right. Another day, another dollar. All right. Peace. Another day, another dollar. All right, peace on this one.